Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we'll be talking about the significance of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his family, along with the incident that took place within the plains of Karbala. Now, to give the full picture, I'm going to take it right back to the beginning. Okay, so upon the death of Amir Muawiyah radiyallahu an, he appointed his son Yazid as the next Khalifa. Although there was an agreement in place that Muawiyah, he wasn't to appoint the next Khalifa, he did it because he didn't want another civil war to occur, and that the Ummah, it's already gone through too much bloodshed. So along with this, he did see at the time Yazid as somebody who is capable and a noble leader, because Yazid, he actually led many expeditions for the Muslims, including the first siege of Constantinople. Although he failed this, like many other armies after him failed, he was the commander after all. He attempted to conquer the city that the Prophet ﷺ prophesied about. So Muawiyah, he saw Yazid as a worthy successor and didn't want another civil war like in the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, as it is stated by Ibn Kathir in Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya. Muawiyah feared that if he did not appoint a successor, the Ummah would again fall into discord. Now this was a mistake of Muawiyah because, the way Yazid turned out, he was a terrible human being. He was not worthy of his father Muawiyah radiallahu an and his grandfather Abu Sufyan. The way Yazid turned out, we don't blame Muawiyah because he doesn't have ilmul ghaib. He didn't have any malicious intent, and he just thought in the best of interest of the Ummah at that time. He didn't know that Yazid, he's going to commit such crimes against the Ummah and such crimes against the Ahlul Bayt. When he became the Khalifa, he did terrible, terrible things, like of which he sent an army to attack the people of Medina after they rebuked him for being a fasiq. According to Imam Malik, serious atrocities were committed: the killing of companions, women being assaulted, and the city looted. And Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu an and other companions, they refused to give him the oath of allegiance and said, how can Yazid be given leadership when he plays with dogs and drinks wine? Imam Hussain alayhi salam, him also seeing all this chaos, refused to give bay'ah to Yazid. Although Yazid was pressuring him that come and give me bay'ah, because he knew that if the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ gives me bay'ah, the people will accept me. But of course Imam Hussain, he refused to give a tyrant like Yazid bay'ah. Also at that same time, the people of Kufa, who were the Shia at that time, they kept sending letters to Imam Hussain saying, come to us and we'll give you an army to overpower Yazid, and you will be the Khalifa of the Muslims. For the time being, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he ignored them, but they kept on pestering him. They kept sending letters saying the same thing over and over again. Over 100 letters were sent, some say over 1,000 letters. So eventually Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he thought, okay, let's go meet these people of Kufa and let's see what they're about. So him, his companions and his family members set out from Mecca to go meet the people of Kufa with the intent of gaining support from them. Eventually on the 2nd of Muharram, Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his people, they reached an area called Karbala. There the Shia of Kufa met them. However, at the same time they were also intercepted by Yazid's army under the command of a man called Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Yes, the people of Kufa, the Shia, they led Imam Hussain alayhi salam into a trap. They promised him an army, they promised him wealth, but they ran off and left him and his family there to fend for themselves. In the enemy army, there was over 1,000 men who surrounded the Ahlul Bayt at this time. If any one of Imam Hussein's followers tried to leave the circle that the enemies have created, then they'd be killed there and then, no mercy. The Ahlul Bayt, they were cut off from supply of water, so their food and resources were very limited. There was the Euphrates River, but they were cut off supply from that, so whatever water they had with them was what was going to suffice them. For days, the women, small children and even babies had to suffer in the camp that they were forced to reside in. No support came, and it was clear that the family of the Prophet ﷺ were all alone. Now this siege, it lasted for about 8 days in total. The Ahlul Bayt, they were exhausted, thirsty, starving and suffering. When it came to the 10th day of Muharram, also known as the day of Ashura, Imam Hussain alayhi salam made the decision that okay, we're gonna fight for our freedom. Either we get out of this alive or we are martyred on this blessed day of Ashura, which has many virtues. So him and his men, they had less than 70 warriors with them, and the enemy had over 1,000. So just try and compare that. This is the bravery of Imam Hussain and his followers. So they decided, we're gonna face this enemy. We're gonna fight them till the death. Now they were still refusing to give themselves up to Yazid. The same way Musa alayhi salam didn't obey Fir'aun, Imam Hussain alayhi salam refused to obey Yazid. Due to the fact that they were outnumbered, the enemy, as I said, they were over 1,000 in number. The Ahlul Bayt were being slaughtered one by one. Imam Hussain, he saw his companions, his nephews, his cousins, his sons, all being slain right before his eyes. Eventually, Imam Hussain alayhi salam went back to his tent temporarily and saw his 6-month-old baby, Ali Asghar, literally dying from thirst. So he took him, raised him up in front of Yazid's forces, and said to them, if you don't have any remorse for me, then at least have some remorse for this child. Then upon seeing this, someone from the opposition called Harmala ibn Kahil, he shot an arrow striking the innocent baby right in the neck, causing him to die right in the blessed hands of Imam Hussain radiyallahu anh. Now, just try and envision this. How cruel could Yazid's army be? How ruthless could the commander Ibn Ziyad be that he has his men kill children as well? Not only was he a child, he was an infant. He wasn't even a year old. He was an innocent little baby, and they killed him as well in the most brutal way possible. What did that child do? How did the child deserve this? This was how ruthless Yazid's army was. From this, Imam Hussain radiallahu anh, he knew that the enemy's hearts, they've been sealed, and there's no way they will stop until they get him. So with those who remained, he fought, and he fought bravely till the very end. He fought through spears, arrows, axes, swords, you name it. The Imam, he didn't stop until he was finally struck down and his blessed head was cut off from his blessed body. And then it was presented to the commander Ibn Ziyad. Then at last, after seeing the Imam is killed, then Ibn Ziyad was finally satisfied with this bloodshed. Then it came to an end. Now I want to make this clear also. Yazid didn't actually order for Ibn Ziyad and the army to necessarily kill Imam Hussain or massacre his family the way they did. Rather, Yazid wanted Imam Hussain to be brought to him alive. So he wanted Imam Hussain to be captured and immediately brought into his presence. So Ibn Ziyad, he disregarded Yazid's order and he killed the beloved grandson of the Prophet ﷺ. However, we still say yes, Yazid is responsible and to blame for the events of that which occurred at Karbala. This tragedy was a great crime against the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, as stated by the ulama. Ibn Kathir says that Yazid's army committed great crimes in Karbala and later in Medina. We do not love him nor do we curse him. As well as this, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he says, no one who believes in Allah and the last day should accept Yazid as a leader. All the ulama from all generations spoke out against Yazid and his oppression. Imam Abu Hanifa did, Imam Malik, Imam al-Shafi'i, Imam al-Nawawi, Imam al-Ghazali, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Jalaluddin al-Suyuti, and I can go on and on. The entire ummah is upon the agreement of Yazid being a big munafiq. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said to Imam Ali radiallahu anh on one occasion, أنه لا يحبك إلا مؤمن ولا يبغضك إلا منافق. That none will love you but a believer, and none will hate you but a hypocrite. Of course, hating and opposing the son of Imam Ali radiallahu anh is just like hating and opposing him. After Imam Hussain radiallahu anh and his followers were martyred, their bodies were left unburied on the battlefield. From amongst the men, all were killed apart from Imam Zain al-Abidin, so him and the women from the camp of Ahlul Bayt were taken as prisoners. Both the captives and the blessed head of Imam Hussain alayhi salam were sent to Yazid. And according to Ibn Kathir, as stated in Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, Yazid actually expressed sadness and regret when the captives arrived. Ibn Hajar also states Yazid did not order the killing directly, but he bore responsibility due to his authority. Some reports include Yazid eventually allowing for the captives and the remaining Ahlul Bayt members to return to Medina, perhaps to maybe distance himself from the blame, Allahu A'lam. Yet still there was a massive uproar in all parts of the Muslim lands, and due to his actions, many people turned against Yazid and didn't stand for his oppression any further. Whatever respect he did have amongst the Muslims, he lost it, and many revolts and rallies were carried out against him. Eventually, only a couple years after Yazid, he died. His tyranny ended, until this day the legacy of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his bravery and his courage against tyranny is remembered. So we should all follow his example and stand for the truth no matter how low we are in numbers. And we should always hold on to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it means death is imminent, like it was for Imam Hussain. وَالْآخِرَةُ دَعْوَتُنَا وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.